Today, I'll draw your attention to another book. An old book. Not as old as the Bible, but quite old. And famous. Many of you, I'm sure, have read it. And those who have not read it know it. Everyone knows this book. Yet, not many people can recall the passage I'm about to read. I'll tell you the name after. Let's see if you can guess the book. Now, as the apprehension of the return of my distemper terrified me very much, it occurred to my thought that the Brazilians take no physic but their tobacco for almost all distempers. And I had a piece of a roll of tobacco in one of the chests which was quite cured, and some also that was green and not quite cured. I went, directed by heaven, no doubt, for in this chest I found a cure both for soul and body. I opened the chest and found what I looked for, the tobacco. And as the few books I had saved lay there too, I took out one of the Bibles which I mentioned before, and which to this time I had not found leisure or inclination to look into. I say, I took it out and brought both that and the tobacco with me to the table. What use to make of the tobacco I knew not in my distemper, or whether it was good for it or no, but I tried several experiments with it, as if I was resolved it should hit one way or other. I first took a piece of leaf and chewed it in my mouth, which indeed at first almost stupefied my brain, the tobacco being green and strong, and that I had not been much used to. Then I took some and steeped it an hour or two in some rum, and resolved to take a dose of it when I lay down. And lastly, I burned some upon a pan of coals, and held my nose close over the smoke of it as long as I could bear it, as well for the heat as almost for suffocation. In the interval of this operation, I took up the Bible and began to read, but my head was too much disturbed with the tobacco to bear reading, at least at that time. Only having opened the book casually, the first words that occurred to me were these: "Call on me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me." So, what's the book? By the way, today's Birds of Prey Saturday. In the Falcon, I got Condor long cut. I first read this book when I was in my early teens. I liked it. As a adventure novel. It's been known and advertised as adventure novel. The book is Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. Written and published in 1719. Back then, obviously, people knew what use to make of tobacco. Later in the book, he made himself pipe. Tobacco. It's a wonderful plant. A good plant. Very beneficial. We don't know most of its properties. The psychos in power know. That's why they're fighting it. That's why they want to get rid of it. And they will. It is good for you. And everything that's good for you, it's bad for them. That's why they falsely demonize it. Cheers. By the way, when I read the book for the second time in my 30s, I looked at it from a completely different angle. I saw it differently. It is not an adventure novel. It's not a survival book. It's not the bullshit they show in the movies or cartoons. It's a book about the journey of a man, the journey of lost man, the journey back to God. I would advise you to read it again. Condor long cut. Gone. Enjoy smokes.